Hi, welcome to Budget MTG Decks. All magic fun, all cards under $1. I'm David.
I'm Stefan.
And today we're going to be looking at all the black cards in Kaladesh.
So we're gonna evaluate the cards for limited, so draft or sealed.
Yeah, we're using our very simple tier system. You already looked at these in the videos before. Tier 1, awesome, always play it. Tier 2 pushes you into that color. Tier 3, great filler. And then we have no tier 4, just put those cards aside. Let's start right away with our common cards in black. Our first black card is Night Market Lookout. For 1 black, it's a 1/1 human rogue, and when this guy gets tapped, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Now, a 1/1 for 1 better have a pretty good ability. This one, in essence, when it attacks, it's dealing 2 damage and you're gaining a life. Ideal scenario. Realistic scenario, you can't attack with it because you're going to have a 2/2 and it's just sitting there doing nothing. However, it does have one redeeming quality, is that with its 1 power, it would be able to crew a vehicle of a crew 1 vehicle. And every time you're crewing it, it is draining your opponent 1 life and gaining you a life. In that sense, that could work. However, what are the odds you can have both of those cards? I think very small. I say put it aside.
Yeah, but that's what I really enjoy about
That's
it.
the dream. That's the dream.
That's the dream.
Yes.
So next one, Metal Spinner's Puzzle Knot. 2 mana artifact. When Metal Spinner's Puzzle Knot enters the battlefield, you draw a card and you lose a life. And for 3 mana, 2 and a black, you can sacrifice Metal Spinner's Puzzle Knot, and you draw a card and you lose a life. So you can draw 2 cards, lose 2 life for 5 mana. That's actually pretty steep, but it's still card draw and you can do it on multiple turns. So that's why I put it in a tier 3.
Yeah.
Just as a filler.
If it would just be, you had to pay it in 1 go, then it would be out. But because it's split over, you can spread the mana out for early and late, and it can do something in the beginning, do something later, then it's okay. But still, you know, not too excited about it. Next card is Subtle Strike. For 2 mana, it's an instant. We can choose 1 or both. Target creature gets -1/-1 until the end of turn, and we can put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So that is a power and toughness swing of 2. So that is pretty cool as a combat trick. Not really much more than that. Although, well, you could kill a servo from a distance and then just pump one of your guys. A little bit more flexible than a just sheer combat trick. So still just filler though.
Yeah, I really like the +1/+1 counter for 2 mana instant. So that's really nice.
Yeah, very cool.
So next one, Thriving Rats. It's a 1 on a black. It's a 1/2 red. So that's not that great, but you get 2 energy counters, and when he attacks, you may pay 2 energy counters to put a +1/+1 counter on it. So for 2 mana, it's a 2/3, which is actually pretty good.
Yeah. It's not as good as the Ibex. It's better than the Turtle. I'm okay playing the Rat as a filler card.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Once again, of course, if you got extra energy, you can still use that into the Thriving Rats to make it even bigger. Let me see. Next card is Dunned Operative. For 2 mana, we get a 2/2, so that's right on a curve right there already. Human Rogue, and as long as you control an artifact, it gets +1/+0 and has Death Touch. Good chance we're gonna have artifact. We don't need multiple artifacts, just one's plenty. 1 little Thopter, 1 little Servo is enough to make this guy a 3/2 Death Toucher. Good on the offense, difficult to block, that's going to do a lot of damage. Even better on the defense, because those giant monsters can't really get through a Death Toucher. I would always play it if I'm in black. Tier 2.
Exactly. It's already like
it's already on curve.
2, so that's really good.
Yeah.
So Die Young, 1 on a black, sorcery. Choose target creature, you get 2 energy counters. Then you may pay any amount of energy counters. The creature gets -1/-1 for each any counter paid this way. So it's really flexible removal. On itself, it gives something -2/-2. If you kill something weaker, it's just -1/-1, and you still get 1 energy counter left. Yeah. And if you have more energy counters, you can kill big things. That's why I like about it. Yeah. It isn't that great removal, so it's just tier 3, but still, it's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. It has good potential. I think I'd probably always play it in black though.
Yeah, I think so.
It's high tier 3. High tier 3.
I know, but it's difficult.
You know
because
why?
You have
Sorcerer
to have,
speed.
Yeah,
Sorcerer.
But you also have to have those energy counters to kill something bigger.
Yeah.
So that's why I just want to put it tier 3.
I don't know if it would have been instant speed. I probably would have put it even higher. But all right, next one, Rush of Vitality. For 2 mana, it's an instant. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains lifelink and an indestructible until the end of the turn. This is a card I like very much. This is tier 2. I've always played in black. I got a couple of these kind of cards. I'm moving towards playing black. Why? Because it always does something. Do you want to protect your bomb? It does that. Do you want to get in an extra point of damage? It does that. Are you behind? You need to get a little bit of more life to get yourself out of the danger zone. It does that. Really good, really strong, instant speed, combat trick protection, and life gain.
Yeah, because it's a combat trick. It's +1/+0 and indestructible, so it can trade up and you gain that life, and that's really relevant.
Yeah, perfect.
So the next one for 2 is Find. It's 2 and a black. It's a sorcery. Choose one or both. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand, and return target creature card from the graveyard to your hand. So we don't really like these effects that much,
No.
but as we said before, you can do both, and there's so many artifacts. So it's 1 card, 3 mana to get 2 cards back, which actually isn't that bad.
No, considering how many artifacts or creatures as well in this set, you could potentially for 3 mana get 2 creatures back.
Yeah,
And that is pretty nice.
exactly. So that's why I just put it in tier 3.
Yeah.
You don't always want to play it, but it's still a decent card.
Yeah, out of all the cards that have this kind of effect, I think this one's most likely the one that would play. Then we have Prakata Pillar Bug. Prakata Pillar Bug. For 3 mana, it is a 2/3 insect. So, okay, a body, it's fine already. And for 1 black, we can give it lifelink. So essentially what this is a large Roomba, because it's a vacuum cleaner walking around. And it's cleaning stuff, giving you a life, so that is awesome. I actually like it as a filler. It's an artifact as well, so that's nice. And the lifelink's not too shabby.
Exactly. It's pretty good. Just
Good filler.
Yeah.
And if you're not in black, I might use it as a filler as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So next one, Lawless Broker. It's 2 and a black. It's a 3/2 Etherborn Rogue, and when Lawless Broker dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. So it's a 3/2 for 3, which is not that bad. Not really happy about those 3/2s.
But 3/2 for 3 mana, that's fine on curve.
Yeah,
That's fine
but
on
still.
curve. Yeah.
But when he dies, you can pump something up, and that's what I think the redeeming
it's not
factor.
even pumping, because if you pump it, it would just be
Yeah.
turn. But this is a counter, so it's permanently that thing is stronger.
So it's permanently pumped.
Permanently pumped, yeah. But that's big.
Yeah.
That's big. That's a big
So
thing. Yeah.
a really good filler.
This is top tier 3. Absolutely. Next one we have Live Fast for 3 mana. It's a sorcery. You draw 2 cards, lose 2 life, and get 2 energy counters. Yeah, drawing 2 cards, that's good for 3 mana. That's fine. You get I see the energy as a little bit of a bonus for this effect. Filler, decent filler. You know,
It is
just normal.
Yeah. So next one, we all know this one, Mind What. 2 and a black sorcery. Target player discards 2 cards. We haven't played this before, and I don't think we're gonna play this now.
No.
So
exactly.
just put it aside.
If it would say discards cards at random, but things they get to get rid of the 2 worst cards that they have.
Yeah.
So it's just not strong enough. Then we have Foundry Screecher for 3 mana. We get a 2/1 flyer. Now I like 2 power flyers for 3 mana. I think they do a lot of work. And when this guy also gets +1/+0 as long as you control an artifact. So this one would actually potentially be a 3/1, which I think is good enough.
Yeah.
Good enough as a filler card. Evasion, difficult to block. I like it.
Yeah. I just don't like the 1 toughness.
It's annoying, but the problem is that there's a lot less stoppers than servos in this set. So because it's the fact that it's in the air, I think the 1 toughness is going to be much less of a problem.
So Prakata Club Security. It's 3 and a black. It's a 3/4 Etherborn Warrior. So we need to have a bouncer for the club, I guess.
Normally the bouncer for the club for 4 mana gives you a 2/4. So having a 3/4,
It's really good.
much better. It's actually really good.
So it's really decent filler.
Really decent filler, yeah. It may be vanilla, but you know, sometimes you just want plain old vanilla. You know, pretty good. Next card is Molefist Squad for 4 mana with a 3/1 with Menace and Fabricate 1, which means we could make this into a 4/2 with Menace, or a 3/1 and a little 1/1 servo. So let's say what you're mostly going to do is 4/2 Menace.
It's not bad.
Yeah, not that bad. Personally, I think I would probably like the club security first.
Yeah.
So the per card club security tier 3 high. This one medium to low, I think. Because yeah, 2 toughness still can be killed with a lot of things.
I think if you need some evasion, this is the thing you're looking for.
I still would rather have the flyer.
Yeah, of course.
The Foundry's creature. Alright, next we go to Ambitious Aetherborn for 5 mana. It's a 4/3 with Fabrica ones, and now we're talking. Now it is a 5/4 if we choose to give it the +1 counter. And you know what? 5/4, that is a lot of damage for a 5 mana creature.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it doesn't have the evasion, but you know what? They're gonna throw something in front of it.
Exactly. It's 5 power and 4 toughness. It's really good. It's really big.
Yeah, just tier 3. Great filler for your 5 mana slot.
Exactly. So, tidy conclusion. 3 and 2 black. It's an instant. Destroy target creature. You gain 1 life for each artifact you control. So, it's unconditional removal and you gain life. What more do you want?
You're being greedy if you want more. You're being really greedy. You may think, oh, but 5 mana, it's so expensive. No, it's unconditional removal. It's really strong.
Yeah,
it's
and common.
Great. Tier 2.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Tier 2.
Then we get to the last one of our common black cards, and that is Dukara Scavenger for 6 mana. It is a 4/6 crocodile. Whew, that's a big butt on the crocodile.
It is.
And when this guy enters the battlefield, you may put target artifact or creature card from your graveyard on top of your library, so that you're going to be drawing into that awesome artifact or awesome creature that you that died before. Plus, it's a 4/6, so this thing 4 power is relevant. It's going to be can kill a lot of stuff, and that's 6 toughness. What's going to get through there?
Nothing.
Almost nothing. So it's really strong.
Yeah.
For a common, I'm very happy playing this on curve at 6 mana, tier 2.
Exactly, and it gets something back. So that's really nice.
Yeah.
You don't even have to do it. So if a bomb dies, you play this one, you get your other bomb back.
Yeah, not immediately, of course, you're going to have to find it, but still.
Yeah.
Still really cool. Really
exactly.
Good. Those are the comments. Let's have a look at the uncommons. Our first card is Harsh Scrutiny for 1 black. It's a sorcery that allows us to have our opponent reveal their hand, and we make them discard a creature card from it. And we also get to scry 1. Now, in Construction, we all know that these kind of cards are really strong. In Limited, they're a little bit less strong, but in Limited, people are going to be playing creatures, so you may think, hey, you know, I will be able to target something, but late game, it's not going to do anything, and that is what the big problem is. So because of the fact that it's so weak late game, I say put it aside.
Yeah, the little redeeming factor is that if you don't get anything, you can still scry 1, but I don't think that's enough.
Not enough. Yeah.
It's just not enough.
Just not enough, yeah.
So next one, Underhanded Designs. 1 and a black enchantment. Whenever artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1, and if you do, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. So, for each artifact that comes into play, you can pay an extra mana to drain someone. And for 1 and a black, you can sacrifice Underhanded Designs, destroy target creature. You can only activate this ability if you have 2 or more artifacts. So that's actually pretty, kinda difficult. I don't think it will be really difficult, but something you have to think about.
It's not unconditional at all.
Yeah,
so you gotta jump through hoops.
That's why I put tier 3. It's still good, it still drains, it still removes, but you have to do more for it, and that's why it's tier 3.
Yeah, I'd say low tier 3 this one. You can fill it out, it will do some stuff, but will it always be able to do what you want when you want it? I think it's kind of risky.
Exactly.
Next we have Embrawl Bruiser for 2 mana, a 3/1. Now I personally like 3/1s for 2 mana. I know they die very often to servos. In this set I think they're a little bit worse than normally because there are so many ways to get 1/1 servos. They also enter the battlefield tapped, so you can't block with it. But it does have menace as long as you control an artifact, and you probably will control at least 1 artifact, and now all of a sudden, yes, now you got a 3/1 with menace, which I think is already much better for 2 mana, and that's why it brings it back to actually being a decent filler.
Exactly.
So they went up and down, but we got there in the end. We absolutely got there.
So next one, Fretwork Colony. 1 and a black, it's a 1/1 insect, and he can't block. But at the beginning of your upkeep, put a +1/+1 counter on Fretwork Colony, and you lose 1 life. So every single turn, it grows. So when you can attack, the first time it's already a 2/2, and then it's a 3/3, and because it grows, it's just so strong.
It grows on curve.
Yeah.
So that is
Just
really strong.
To auto include.
Just put it in and just watch it grow. Feels kind of bad when it's late game, you're at 5 life and you play it.
True.
But you pop it in early in this thing. This can win you the game though. That's what the thing is.
I think the upside is better than the downside.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I just always want to include this.
Then we have Weaponcraft Enthusiast for 3 mana. We have a 0/1 Aetherborn Artificer with Fabricate 2. So it's either a 0/1 with 2 1/1s or it is a 2/3 for 3. And 2/3 for 3 is okay. I think it's just okay. It's an okay filler. I don't think you'll feel bad playing a 2/3 for 3. You don't feel bad about that. Exactly. But no more than that either.
No. So make obsolete 2 and a black instant. Creatures your opponent control gets -1/-1 until end of turn. So I really like this card because it's 3 mana, so that's pretty aggressive, and it's -1/-1 for only your opponent's creatures.
Yeah.
On instant speed, so I really like this one.
It would be playable if it was all creatures. You still play around it a little bit, but now you don't even have to.
Exactly.
And it's instant speed, so
it's a really
strong.
good semi-board vibe, really good combat trick.
Really good after combat when they've, the creatures still have some damage on them. You just throw that afterwards just to kill them.
Yeah.
Very good. Very strong. Tier 2, absolutely. Then we have Morbid Curiosity for 3 mana, of which 2 have to be black. We got a sorcery. As an additional cost, we do have to sacrifice an artifact or creature. And then we get draw cards equal to the converted mana cost of sacrifice permanent. Now, the problem with this card is the word sorcery. If it would say instant, it would be awesome. Because it says sorcery, it's not awesome. Because what's going to happen is you're going to have a big, fat, juicy creature or artifact that's going to be doing a lot of good work. And now you have to kill it to draw cards that maybe draw you something better, maybe it doesn't draw you something better, and you still have to cast it as well. That's no good. So then you're going to play it and sacrifice something which is not good. So then you're drawing 2 cards. You're going to sacrifice your 2 mana 2/2. Then you're drawing 2 cards, but you also have to get rid of this card because you're casting this card. And so then what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't do that.
Yeah.
So put it aside, leave it for somebody else.
Yeah, it costs you 2 cards already, and it costs you all the combined mana, so it's just too much.
Yeah. Change that to instant, and then we're talking. You can make it 4 mana then, as long as you make it instant.
I don't think
even not 4 mana. No, don't do that.
No.
Okay, 1 black. We dwell on it too long. That's the Morbid Curiosity. We want to talk about it, even though we know it's a terrible card. We just can't look away. All right, go next. Give me the next card.
One, Essence Extraction. 1 and 2 black. It's an instant, and Essence Extraction deals 3 damage to target creature, and you gain 3 life. So for 3 mana, 3 damage, actually pretty decent, and the 3 life just gravy on top. Yeah. It's a good filler.
Yeah, exactly, good filler. Next, we have Oval Chase Daredevil for 4 mana. It is a 4/2 human pilot. Now, normally we say we don't like big power and 2 toughness because it's going to trade against bears, and that just makes us feel bad, especially when we're paying 4 mana for this, even though the power 4 is good. But it has a special ability. When this guy enters the battlefield under your control, or when an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may return this guy from your graveyard to your hand. Hey, now we're talking, because now we can play it on turn 4, we can have it kill something that has 4 toughness, or we can block something big, we can just swing with it. They have to, maybe they do throw that 2/2 in front of it, then we play an artifact, we get it back, next turn we play it again, and that is going to be a race that they will be losing, especially with the amount of artifacts that we can have enter the battlefield in a game in this set.
That's why I really like it, because it just keeps coming back,
value.
And that's good. Yeah. So that's just your bomb, because you cannot stop a 4 power that just keeps on coming.
Yeah, exactly. So that is tier 2 for sure, included if you're in black.
Yeah. So next one, Diabolic Cheetah. 2 and 2 black, it's a sorcery, and you can search your library for a card, put a card in your hand, and shuffle your library. So 4 mana, get your bomb in your hand, your answer, everything you want. So why not play it?
Yeah, you play it in black. I mean, think about it. It's just another copy of whatever you need at that point in time. You may say, yeah, but I'm paying 4 mana. Yeah, but otherwise we're also playing cards that scry 2, draw an extra card, just because we have to dig. We're digging for those things. And this one doesn't. You don't have to dig. It just says, pop, here you go. This is what you need. Win the game. Enjoy your lunch. This is definitely a great card in Limited, I think, especially. Then we go to the last one of the uncommons, and that is Aetherborn Marauder. For 4 mana, we get a 2/2 flyer lifelink. Cool. You notice how positive the black is in this set. Not a lot of death touch, a lot of lifelink. It's a lot of life the black set has. And so anyway, so it's a 2/2 flying lifelinker. And when this guy enters the battlefield, move any number of +1/+1 counters from other permanents you control onto Aether Marauder. Hey, this thing could actually become really big. For 4 mana, it's not going to be a 2/2 flyer. It most likely will be a 4/4 flying lifelinker when it comes in.
With all the fabricate and stuff like that?
Exactly. So you have your attack. You attack with all your guys which have +1/+1 counters on them, and then after the combat phase, in your second main phase, you play this guy, you throw all the counters on, now all of a sudden you got a 4/4 flying lifelinker or bigger. You know what? That's going to win you the game.
Exactly.
Tier 2, absolutely. That is the last one of the uncommons. Let's have a look at the rares.
So, the first rare, Scrapheap Scourge. For 2 mana, it's a 3/2, and it can't block. So, a 3/2 is pretty aggressive for 2 mana, especially if it's colorless. But for 1 and a black, you can exile another creature card from your graveyard, and you return it from the graveyard to the battlefield. So, it doesn't stay dead. And that's actually pretty good. So I just would always want to include it.
Yeah, exactly. If you're in black. So if you're in black, I would say tier 2. If you're in another color, it's still an okay filler.
Yeah, it's still a 3/2 for 2.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be blocked with it. You want to be swinging and dealing damage. Next, we have Syndicate Trafficker. For 2 mana, we get a 3/1. Once again, I said 3/1s for 2. I'm okay with that. Aetherborn Rogue, this guy is. And we can pay a generic mana, sacrifice an artifact, and then put a +1/+1 counter on this guy, and it also goes indestructible to the end of turn. Now we're talking, because you can attack with this guy, and then people have to decide, okay, am I going to block it? But wait, they have a servo, so that means that they can pay a mana, and then they can sack it. Then this thing's going to be a 4/2 and indestructible, so it'll probably kill whatever I'm throwing in front of it. I'm not doing anything. I can't kill it. Even if my thing is 4 power, 5 power, it's not stopping it. So then you know what I'll do? I won't block it. So then it gets in for 3 damage. You didn't do it, so next turn you can do it again, and do it again and again, because you're actually not paying the mana. You're not sacrificing the thing. You just keep on keeping that threat open the whole time. And should somebody say, okay, now I'm sick of this thing, I'm going to cast an instant and destroy it, you still sacrifice an artifact and make it indestructible anyway. So it's going to be a pain in the butt to get rid of, and all it does is every turn dealing 3 points of damage, you're doing great. So I'd say tier 2.
Yeah, and the counter is really important because it just stays on. It keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So I really like that one. So good tier 2. So next one, Lost Legacy, 1 and 2 black. It's a sorcery. You name a non-artifact, non-land card. Search the type of player's graveyard, hand, and library for any number cards of that name and exile them. The player shuffles his or her library, then draws a card for each card exiles from his hand this way. So it just searches for specific things, and that's really good and constructed, but not in limited.
If you still draw cards on top of that.
Well, yeah, if it adds in hand.
No.
Yeah. So in limited it doesn't really do much.
And you have to name it first.
Yeah. So if you know what bomb he's playing, you can get rid of it.
Get it out of here. Put it away. Aside. Yeah. Next. Midnight Oil for 4 mana, of which 2 need to be black. We got an enchantment. Now this thing enters the battlefield with 7-hour counters on it. At the beginning of your draw step, you get to draw an additional card and remove 2-hour counters from Midnight Oil. Then it also states your maximum hand size is equal to the number of hour counters on Midnight Oil, and if you have to discard a card, lose 1 life. Okay, it seems like a lot. It's very wordy. What does this thing do? Okay, you pop it down. Every turn you get an additional card, so every turn you're drawing 2 cards, and every turn there's less cards that you can hold in your hand. But of course, as time progresses, you're playing more cards, your hands are getting smaller, so that shouldn't matter that much. The only thing is when the last 2 counters are that you can be removed, it's still going to have 1 counter left on it, which means that essentially you're always going to be limited to 1 card in hand.
Don't you have to remove the...
Oh, sorry, you do have to remove all the counters.
Yeah, because if you can't remove 2, you have to remove...
You have to remove one.
As much as you can.
So essentially, sorry, yeah, you're right. So instead of so not 1, but your hand size will limited to 0, even though you will be drawing 2 cards per turn. But by the end, you should be able to have enough mana to be able to cast 2 cards per turn. The only issue is, of course, if you draw 2 lands, you can only play 1 land. The other one you gotta discard, so you lose 1 life. Okay, it doesn't matter. But if you do draw 2 cards that are good, you can play them. I think the advantage that you're gonna be getting over the course of the game outweighs the risk of, drawing 2 lands and later on you can only play 1 of them.
Yeah.
So I'd say Midnight Oil tier 2 because it can win you the game just because you're drawing so many extra cards.
It's good early game when you can play it, just play it. And it's good late game because if you top deck it, then you're still drawing 2 cards the next turn and the next turn and the next turn. Absolutely. Late game's even better, I would say. Exactly.
Awesome. Very good.
So the next one, Gonti, Lord of Luxury. 2 and 2 black. It's 2/3 Eaterborn Rogue with Death Touch. And when he enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of target opponent's library, exile one of them face down, and then put the rest of them on the bottom of that library in a random order. For as long as that card remains exiled, you may look at it, you may cast it, you may spend mana as though it was mana of any type to cast it. So it enters the battlefield for 4 mana 2/3, which isn't that great. It has Death Touch, so that's nice. And you can cast your opponent's creatures, like one of your opponent's creatures, and you can spend any mana for it. So that's actually really good.
Yeah. So not just creatures, artifacts, enchantments, anything.
Yeah.
So doesn't of course usually it's going to be a flat creature, but it could be anything really. It could be a land.
Anything.
So it doesn't even matter. So it's pretty cool. So you're essentially what it says: 4 mana, you get a 2/3 Death Touch, and you get another card that you can play later for any mana. Not too shabby. You're not gonna win the game by itself. So but it's not tier 1.
Always gonna play
tier,
it.
But a good tier 2.
Yeah.
Eliminate the Competition is next for 5 mana, a sorcery as an additional cost to cast. Eliminate the competition, sacrifice X creatures, then destroy X target creatures. Now, of course, when you see this, you think, oh my god, okay, I'm gonna sacrifice my 4 crappy creatures, and they gotta get rid of their 4 best creatures. Awesome. So then you think tier 1 already, because this is just gonna be the massive blowout that's gonna win you the game. It's not that great because sometimes there's gonna be situations where you don't have enough creatures to sacrifice. Maybe you only have your bomb, and they've got 2 good creatures, and then you're not going to be getting rid of your bomb to get rid of one of their good creatures, and then they still have the other one which they can kill you with. Maybe your bomb's the only thing keeping you alive. So that's what's keeping this from being tier 1, being auto-include. Actually, it's still an auto-include because it's still just very strong. You don't have to play it. You can wait till you get some crappy stuff, and because it's sorcery speed. So I would say tier 2, but I would say lower on the tier 2 scale.
Yeah, because if you know you have it, you just play around it, just play white, and then kill all of your opponent's creatures with all your crappy stuff.
Exactly, it's gonna make you feel really good going like, oh, these servos, you've outlived your usefulness. Go be suicidal, and they gotta get rid of their bombs.
Exactly.
Awesome. Then we go to the last one, and that is Marionette Master for 6 mana. It is a 1/3 human artificer with Fabricate 3, so essentially it could be a 4/6.
It's actually pretty decent.
4/6 pretty big for 6 mana. And whenever an artifact you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, the opponent loses life equal to this guy's power. So that's actually pretty cool because then every time one of your little artifacts are dying, you're dealing 4 damage in this case.
Yeah.
Is there a scenario where you would say, I'm going to play this as a 1/3 just to get those 3 artifacts that I can already let die, and then I'm dealing 3 damage essentially?
Well,
with your opponent's at 3 life, yes.
Yeah, I mean, if he's really low on life, you have 3 chump blockers that drain them.
So
if you attack with the 3 servos when he's low, or he's gonna die because of servos, or he's gonna get drained because of servos.
Yeah, so actually it's still possible. I think probably best case scenario, I would say make it a 2/4.
But you can't. It's not. You choose.
Oh, sorry, you're right.
All or nothing.
Yeah, you gotta go all or nothing. You're absolutely
right.
Well,
actually, all on this one or all on.
I think I would probably still just throw it all on this guy, because then, if anything, it's also just a 4/6 that can just block all day.
That's really good. I mean, you'll probably have artifacts anyways, and then if you have another artifact, I think that's already better, because if that artifact dies, you can drain 4, and you still have a 4/6. So that's why the Fabricate using it as counters is really good.
It's just stronger, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the card as a whole, just play it in general because it is just really, really strong.
Exactly.
Tier 2, absolutely. That's the last of the rares. Let's have a look at the mythics.
So the first mythic, Demon of Dark Schemes. 3 and 3 black. It's a 5/5 flying who's already really good. But when he enters the battlefield, all other creatures gets -2/-2 until end of turn. Yeah, so it's a board wipe. And a really good body.
With evasion.
Exactly. But it also has, whenever another creature dies, you get an energy counter. And you can pay 2 and a black. And for energy counters, put target creature from our graveyard.
Anybody. Yeah.
Exactly. Onto the battlefield under your control tapped. So you're killing stuff, you're getting big bodies, you're getting energy counters, then you reanimate their fatties. I don't think there's even more you want.
No. I think you actually want less. You know, this card gives so much that you feel bad just taking so. You're like, just keep the board wipe. I don't need it. I'm okay. I'm reanimating. I don't. People like this guy's like, no, just take it. Take everything. You know, this guy's up to something. This demon is up to. It's giving you too much. You know, he's gonna give and then at some point taketh away. But anyway, this Demon of Dark Schemes is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Tier 1 wins you the game.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Next we have Nauseous Gearhulk for 6 mana. It is a 5/4 artifact construct. It is a Nauseous Gearhulk, which means that it itself is producing a lot of nauseous fumes. It is not nauseated, because that would mean that it itself is feeling sick. So this one's actually making other people sick. It also has Menace, which means that people could say, oh, this guy's making me sick. It's difficult to block. And also when it enters the battlefield, when you destroy another target creature, if a creature is destroyed this way, you gain life equal to its toughness. You can kill that crocodile, for example, then you're gaining 6 life from that. Ideal scenario. It's unconditional removal. It's evasion creature. It's 5 power. It is beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's nauseous. So it's tier 1.
It's tier 1. It's so good. It's a 5/4 menace with remove on it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Those are the mythic cards. Let's have a look at the conclusion.
So in conclusion, black is really solid. It's also like kind of like white, really good commons, really good uncommons. But I think it's really good because the uncommon on the conditional removal, it's so good.
Yeah, it's just black, I think, is a contender for the best color along with white. I don't think it is better than white. I don't think it's worse than white. I think it's got great removal, great bombs, great commons, great uncommons. It's got the evasion stuff. It has everything you want. It's got good power and toughness on curve. In essence, I think this is a contender, just like white, to be one of your main colors. No more, no less. You pull one of those rares, you pull one of those mythics, man, you're gonna be happy.
Exactly. I think I like it more than white, but maybe I'm just biased for black.
Maybe you are. I won't disagree with you. Black is absolutely a great color in this set. Also, don't forget to subscribe. You'll get a notification when a new video comes out, also for this set, but also for other videos that we're making. And you'll get the edge, because we're going to be giving you all the information about which cards are the best in this set and how to play during your pre-release and release. So subscribe for that. Also join us on Facebook and Twitter, because we're going to be sending messages, pictures, combos, all kinds of good stuff. You can ask us questions via that, so you join us there as well. It's the best way to get in touch with us. And that's it. So thanks for watching. I'm David.
I'm Stefan.
This is Budget MTG Decks.